Hey, good day, everyone. This is Mark, and bringing to you a special friend, neighbor of ours. He's Bill, and he has a special duty that he does for part of his one of his part-time jobs. And I want Bill to explain what he does and how much fun he has, and maybe a couple stories about what he has seen in this venture of his. So, Bill, it's all yours.
Okay. Uh, yeah, part of my adventure, we moved to Columbus area 18 years ago now. And I went down to a hockey game down at Nationwide Arena. And at that point, I said to my son, I said, hey, I could do this job. And thought about it and went home and didn't really follow up at Nationwide Arena. But then following the summer after the hockey game, we went down to Huntington Park, and I'm a lifelong baseball addict. I ushered at Nationwide, or eventually ended up becoming an usher at Nationwide Arena, but I also said that I could do the job at Huntington Park. So I talked to a couple guys and put in my application there. And turns out that after I put my application in, uh, I spoke to my cousin who had been in Worthington for 31 years, and I hadn't seen him in quite some time, but he was a volleyball and basketball, girls basketball official. And one of my part time jobs is officiating volleyball, both boys and girls. And of course, I am. He's my cousin. And so the director of operations said, I'm going to pull your application and I'll put it on the top of the stack. So I was hired at Huntington Park, and I just completed my 13th season there, if you count the COVID year, which we didn't have we had a limited major league season, and we canceled the minor league season. But I've been at Huntington Park for 13 years. And incidentally, I can put a plug in if anybody is as interested in baseball as I am. I'm a retired umpire, and I played for quite a few years. But if you go to clippersbaseball.com, there is an employment tab there. And I encourage you to do that because we're always looking for especially retirees that enjoy baseball. Uh, but anyway, after 13 years, after my 11th year, I was uh, promoted, I guess, to uh, lead usher or usher supervisor, and it's a great job. I love it. I really do love it. I actually still usher and perform all my other duties besides hiring. And I'm in section 18 at Huntington Park. If anybody wants to stop by and say, hey, I viewed your podcast, uh, it's just a great job. I mean, you're outdoors, and I'm retired from 38 years in bridge and highway construction, and always wanted a career wrapped around sports, and now I've got one.
Bill, that's great. What's your funniest story that you've witnessed with the fans?
Well, we have to be. I've got a bucket full, but anyway, you have to be aware, and we're not allowed to accuse someone of uh, having a few too many ballpark beers. But I had a guy fall asleep in his seat, and one of the other fans came up to me and there's a guy down there. I think he's had a little bit too much to drink, and he fell asleep. And so I was treading kind of gently and went down and tapped the guy on the shoulder, and he sprung to his feet, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, are you are you okay?" And he admitted to having sleep apnea and fell
Oh.
asleep at the ballpark. It was a sellout crowd, but fell asleep. I've got some really, cool human interest stories. One of them being uh, uh, two of our players, one being Carlos Santana and the other being Michael Brantley, uh, both who've gone on to long major league careers. But that's one of the great parts about that job is, you see these guys come up and play in Columbus and then move on to the major leagues. But I was there the night I was at along first base at the adjacent to the bullpen mound, and I became friends with Charles Nagy, the
Hmm.
pitching coach at the time, and Michael Brantley's dad was there, and they had called Carlos Santana up that the evening before, but Michael Brantley's dad, and I was introduced to the dad by Charles Nagy, and here comes Michael Brantley over toward the railing, and the kid's in tears, and his dad talked to him, and I said, after he went back to his warm-ups, I said, I went down and I asked the dad, "Is everything okay?" I said, "What's up?" And he said, "No, no." He said, "They called up Carlos Santana and they didn't call up my son." And they were both, they both came to Columbus at the same time. And then that was one of my fondest memories. I went and I said, "Well, don't worry. The kid's, he's a good ball player." And we a lot of times forget that they're just kids. A lot
Yep.
of them are teenagers, and some are in their most are in their early 20s. Some are on their way back down, but yeah, it's a great job. I just love it.
Well, that's neat, Bill. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time, and I know you have more stories, so we need to do this again in a couple of months, and we'll be back with some more human interest stories that you've been able to witness about the Clippers and the people that's moved on to the
Oh
major
yeah,
leagues.
yeah. I can tell you some stories about Ken Schnacky, who is a great person and just totally dedicated to the community and to the sport. So yeah.
Okay. All right, sir.
Uh,
Bill,
okay,
thank you
Mark.
very much. Thank you very
You're
much for your.
you're welcome. All
Yep,
right.
and we'll do this again in a month or two. So thank you very much.
Sounds good. All
Hey,
right. Bye bye.
enjoy the warm weather out there today.
All right. Go Jackets. Go Clippers.
Okay, thanks, sir.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, bye.
I'm at the Golf Club of Dublin. That's one of my 5 part-time jobs.
Do you ever
But
take time off?
I do. I do. Amazing. And we went to West Point, and then we took a ride to the Baseball Hall of Fame, which was a bucket list item, and enjoyed the heck out of that. It was just awesome. Uh,
Good for you.
then on Sunday, no, it was Monday, we went to Woodstock, and Pop was 18 years old in 1969, and it was it was part of what
Yep.
our upbringing.
I
Well, back in 1969, I was 18, and that was when we still had to get our parents' permission or asked to borrow the car to drive to uh, New York, and Mom said no. So I wasn't the only one in our group that didn't have their parents' consent. But nowadays, you know, our grandkids would just pick up and go. I was 18,
Yep.
and we thought we might go, but we didn't.
Yep. I wish I could have gone. That would have been that was a sight. So
Yeah, it was. It
okay.
was. So the first thing I did when we moved to the Columbus area was to join the Volleyball Officials Association, and coincidentally, my first assignment was with my cousin. So that being said, when I put my application in at Huntington Park, the director of operations asked me